Even at the end of the day, you might not feel like you've won yet, or even if you get through whatever the challenge is, it was so hard that you don't feel like it was a win. But ultimately, if you're able to continue moving forward and keep going, that's winning in development. I saw the MBA as an opportunity to look at both options and say, okay, which direction do I want to go? And so I attended certain things like when Microsoft came into the university and would put on a presentation and they would be talking to people. So I would go to things like that. But Miami every city is built on development, literally. But Miami has such a strong connection to development, and developers are so prominent here in terms of just what you see culturally. Like around town, George Perez being the one who has the Perez Art Museum, now with Stephen Ross being the related Ross up in West Palm Beach, and all the other developers that people know about who are not even in the development industry is just such a known thing. So I think that's part of what pulled me more in the development direction. But something that I don't think about all the time, but I do remember actually happening was I've always been one of the people that filled out all of the orientation materials, like even if it's not required. Yeah. So I did all of the MBA orientation materials and did a personality thing and like an aptitude thing that would tell me what I would be most interested in. And 3 of the top things were development related. And so that put like the idea in my mind about doing it, which is the similar type of thing throughout my whole life. That's what's happened. Even when I went to law school, when I did my business law, or before I went to law school, when I did my business law class in undergrad, my professor was a federal judge, and he wrote on my final exam, he said, "Excellent work, great logic, you should really consider law school." And at first I didn't think anything of it, but I think it planted the seed that then led me to going to law school. And then the same thing with that aptitude test, it kind of pushed me in the direction of going into development. And then all of like I said, the prominence of developers in Miami gave me the introduction to it. But in reality, what I was doing when I was in the MBA program and applying for internships, most of the jobs are brokerage jobs. Right? There was a lot more brokers than there are developers, or there are a lot more entry-level brokerage positions than there are development positions that are available to people. Yeah. And a lot of the professors or even people in the industry say, go into brokerage first because you're going to get a lot of exposure to a lot of different deals. And so I talked to some brokers and I interviewed in different places, and now I have my license and we have the J3 team with EXP. But the brokerage world wasn't...
For the audience that doesn't know, what exactly is EXP?
So EXP is part of EXP Commercial, is the brokerage that I'm officially have my license with. And with that, I have a team that's called J3, and we focus on development opportunities, but we do a lot of different things all over the state of Florida. But we're part of a larger umbrella that's EXP World Holdings, and it's a publicly traded company that has over 80,000 agents around the world, and EXP Realty is the biggest part of that. So there are tens of thousands of residential agents and then 1,000 commercial agents. And so we have a lot of work that we can do between the two different sides. And just being a publicly traded company, there's a lot of resources that can get put behind that. But yeah, so that's the big picture. EXP World Holdings that has EXP Realty, EXP Commercial, and then under that we have different teams.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So how it's like being a developer and an agent at the same time?
So it's tough balancing sometimes, like client work versus the actual work that we have going on the development side. But with client work, we have the team, right? And there are a lot of other agents that can do those tasks. With the development side of things, it's a much more specialized skill set and that I've spent more time working on. and my particular expertise from the legal and the business side, and now the experience makes it so that there aren't things that are as easily handed off to other people. So as something comes up on the development side, those have to be the priority. And then I ask someone who's on the brokerage team, hey, can you help me with this contract, or go to this showing, or do whatever the thing is. It's especially just all of commercial real estate. It's a team effort.
Team effort. And alliances.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I know you've seen that now, working with Joe and me and Juan Fernando, and how do we even interacting with investors or dealing with the architects and the interior design that we're working with Stephanie on. It's just everybody has different things that they need to do.
Everyone tries to benefit the other.
Yeah.
And even with meeting with, for example, the lawyers, or meeting with the agents, it's always a positive energy. Hey, we're helping each other out. And that's something that I found really healthy about our team specifically, that we're always trying to help everybody out. And that pays off. Eventually, that pays off. So that's something that I feel has been very effective for us.
Yeah, my theory is that you can make money with anyone, but you should make money with people that you like. And so it's much better to get to know people, and if you like them, you end up wanting to give them things, right? So I met you, I like you, I want you to become better in your professional career. And so anything that I can do to help further that, like, I'm here to do it. And that's the same thing for everyone. And so that's what I hope that the rest of the team just continues to do and give back.
I feel that the key for this is to expect nothing but appreciate everything. So that's why I do favors without expecting anything in return. And I feel like how beautiful life is, that will always pays off. That always comes like good towards the future. And I really believe my current business and in future in the business, I'm gonna try my best to continue that philosophy. Just help people out without expecting anything in return. And I feel like God always pays off.
Yeah.
And we share that similar philosophy, you and I. I feel like that's why we connected so well. At first meeting, we had the same hunger. We had the same eagerness to evolve together in our different paces. But I feel like that's something that really helped us through this journey.
I'm assuming that comes from your father and your family, as well as a lot of that attitude.
Yes, a lot of value-oriented. I was raised very value-oriented, Roman Catholic. And it's always thing about just helping people out. Help people out, do your best, be humble, stay humble. No matter, that's why I appreciate my family so much. Because sometimes, especially living outside, and let's say you achieve a lot of goals, you get elevated.
A big head.
Carried away, living independently, living alone. You gotta get it away. But it's always good to have that phone call from home and like around me. Remember where you're from. Remember where you came from. No? Remember what we taught you. And it's, thank you, God, I had it. Many people don't have that, and I feel like it's a blessing. Always keep grounding. I can always improve. I can always learn more and more, especially I turned 25. I feel like people like in my generation say at 25, you're old. But then I meet a 32-year-old, and I'll do anything to be 25 again. It's all about perspective.
Yeah. So someone told me one time that however old you are always feels old because you lived every day of that life. And so when you're viewing it from someone else's perspective, like you haven't spent every single day in their shoes, so it doesn't feel as long. And so you don't have that same point of view.
No, it's all about embracing the present. I feel like in today's life, social media, technology, the news, everything, there's a lot going on. Fast-paced, especially here in Miami. Everything is fast-paced. Like you get carried away with like time. Like you lose track of time, or you're so focused on the future and what's gonna happen tomorrow, or regretting some things you did in the past that you forget the present. And this is my philosophy. Okay, let's say I live in a day-by-day basis. What do I mean by this? Today, Thursday. I'm focused on Thursday. I'm gonna win today. Wake up, I set myself goals. Make my bed in the morning, go to the gym after work, do my best in work, get early in the job, like small tasks, give thanks, ground myself, focus on now. I win today, perfect. Then focus on Friday. I win Friday, Saturday. If I win the majority days of the week, I win the week. If I win the majority of weeks in a month, I win the month. If I win the majority of months in the year, I win the year. If I win the majority of years in my life, I won in life. But it all ends up in today. And that's, for me, the definition of being present. We forget to win. And when you're thinking about stressing, being anxious about the future, you forget of today, you lose the day.
You were down in Panama last week.
Yeah.
And Joe and I were talking about if something went wrong or something went right. But when Joe very first started, I told him development comes in waves and everything is like highs and lows, and you don't know what each day is going to bring, because there might be a problem that seems catastrophic and you just have to figure it out and be able to move through it and turn it into a win, because it is so hard and there are so many ups and downs and challenges that you're going to go through. But when you do have wins, they're amazing. And so you have all of these highs and all these lows. And as you go through the process, it's about keeping them balanced. You don't want to have hard to the point that you're like getting beaten down. You need to have some wins. And part of the goal with development is to also have more than one project, more than one thing going on at a time, so that you can have, even if you have something that's going really terrible one day, hopefully you have something that's going amazing at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so you're just balancing all these emotions and challenges and figuring out how to move through, stay calm, stay collected, patient and pushing forward.